The future is a tricky thing. It can feel impossible to wrap our heads around. And also, we plan our lunches, we schedule appointments. Cities like Portland, Maine regularly attempt to draw the future closer through documents framed through 2030 and even 2050 goals. We are constantly futuring, as anthropologists might call it. In my dissertation work, I take on this futuring through qualitative tools like interviews and youth-led photography to explore how people 15 to 24 years old who live in rural lobster fishing communities in Maine and in Newfoundland imagine their futures. In Maine, I hear fear that declining lobster catches will change the landscape of historic fishing communities. And in Newfoundland, on the flip side, they're experiencing rapid increases in lobster catch, nearly quadrupling in the region since 2015. And these ecological shifts intersect with other kinds of social change. I took this photo on a dock in Newfoundland last year. Towards the left, you see people walking, even some children splashing in a hosepipe near the end. They're wearing day bags and light coats and walking shoes. And this guy in the black truck, after mumbling about people being in front of him for a few minutes, unloaded gear for the fishing boat on the left, because this is both a working waterfront and a tourist destination. And at a different time, in a different instance, a teen in a Maine coastal town told me, you know, some people are going to be mad at me for this, but I want tourism. And he knew some people would be mad about him saying that because although he wasn't here with me on this dock in Newfoundland, he has lived this experience. And he knows there's real questions coming up about how space is shared between trucks and tourists, and about how these decisions and priorities are being made in these areas. And I feel this tension about change in rural life deeply from my own experiences growing up in a small town in Tennessee, in a small changing area. Given the swirl of ecological and social changes that people are experiencing in rural Maine and Newfoundland, it's more important now than ever to understand how young decision makers imagine desirable futures. And imagining desirable futures takes time and energy and resources that not everyone has. Futuring is not an inherently equitable process. Like I said, futures are tricky. But talking about the future explicitly in my work is one way that youth can practice telling people what they want. And so I would ask that as you leave today after this event and go on with your lives, have a beer, that you ask yourself how you make the future every day and what you desire out of the future, not to wish it true, but to practice imagining, and through imagining, to carve out space for possibility.